knowing that the British are very sensitive on time, I would like just to say a few words of our appreciation for what we are living. We have to understand it has been a very difficult year, a very different year, and we wanted to take a moment to wrap up the year and give some information, and also open up for any questions that you might have. We have here with us Jill Diamond, who is a very important person for the WBC and for me personally. She's the chairwoman of the WBC Cares Committee, and her job and dedication for the social responsibility programs of the WBC is outstanding. I would like to ask Victor if you can please put the WBC Cares video so we can just see a little bit images of what this is all about. ¿Sí está Víctor? That's just a few images of what happens in WBC Cares visits. We are so happy to have so many ambassadors all over the world, champions, members of the WBC, and even many members from different areas of boxing participate with us. So, Jill, could you please give us a briefing on what has been this year for WBC Cares?
Well, this year has been more difficult, obviously, for everybody because we can't do those hugging, hands-on visits. Though we found other ways to reach people, whether it's been the United for Learning campaign that Mauricio started, where we're sending out messages from world champions that are going into school systems, encouraging teachers and parents and students to stay hopeful and to stay together. We started it in 2005 under Jose Sulaiman. Mauricio has picked it up. And what it is, a way for us to use our global platform to show the good side of who we are. I mean, you don't read about this in the newspaper. It's up for us to show people the humanity in boxing, that we're parents, teachers, friends, lovers, family, that we go out into the community and we care what goes on using this immense platform, whether it's to help build a hospital or send supplies to a youth center. Our champions virtually never say no. And unlike other organizations, nobody charges. Nobody makes money from this. We just do it because we want to do it and we have the capability of doing it. Our first visit was to Children's Hospital in LA. They didn't want boxers in there, but the boxers went in there and they loved everybody. They invited us back repeatedly. And the sad moment was that the two boxers that went in were Eric Morales and Gennaro Hernandez. And years later, we got a letter from one of the fathers of a young boy who was being treated there for cancer, saying how Gennaro had kept coming back to the hospital and inspired his son to get through his treatment. And the father didn't even know that Gennaro at that point had passed from the same disease. So for us, it's about doing good. It's about legacy. It's about who we are as people. It's about our humanity. And not everybody knows about it because we don't publicize it. We really, really do it just because we can and because we want to do it and because we have this amazing network of all kinds of people, all colors, creeds, religions, and bringing them together to work on good projects makes us all feel good. That's what we get out of it. And we'd love for you to join us. Anyone can join us. It is not a belt thing, it's a people thing. We take everyone who wants to help.
We just got an email 3 days ago from a former amateur fighter from the UK, from London, who his brother is undergoing cancer treatment. And he wanted just a message of encouraging words. So we immediately did a nice letter and we put our UK ambassadors, David Walker, Scott Welch, and they will be receiving a T-shirt and a medal on Christmas Day tomorrow. So this is things that really change the feeling of many all around the world, and I'm just so very proud of you, Jill. Very thankful.
And long as you mentioned that, let me say that our second organization that we started was in the UK with David Walker and Scott Welsh, and they do a marvelous program with adaptive boxing where they work with otherwise abled, whether they're soldiers or boxers or injured people in wheelchairs, and other programs like that. And it's something that if you want to visit them or visit one of the gyms they work at, please do, because it's very inspiring.
Thank you, Jill. Next, we're going to show a video of what 2020 has been for the WBC. So please, Victor. So that was basically a year full of activity. I'm very proud of the WBC staff and the so many members of the WBC from around the world who were very active in these difficult moments. And I can say we're closing the year with activity and with a tremendous calendar schedule of great fights coming up in the opening of the year, beginning on January the 2nd, Luke Campbell fighting Ryan Garcia, and then many, many fights in the horizon. So I just wanted to have this wrapping up session with you who have been in communications throughout the year with us, extend to you our deepest appreciation, our best wishes for the holiday season. And even though we cannot do it in person, we can do it virtually with technology, and just extend our gratitude and best wishes to all of you. I don't know if you have any questions, anything that you would like to discuss we'll be happy to do it.
Yeah, Mauricio, I've got a few for you, if that's okay.
Of course, Danny, please go ahead.
So, from a personal perspective, who have been your fighter and fight of the year?
Well, we're doing our process right now with the Board of Governors, and we're going to release the candidates. But certainly, even though most fighters only fought once this year, with a few exceptions, Ilunga Makabu won the title and just defended the title in El Congo this year. Without a doubt, Tyson Fury, February 22nd statement will be one of the most important events of this year and many years. And Canelo Alvarez performance was superb, was tremendous. Errol Spence coming back from such tragic accident. Lomachenko in the fight with Teofimo Lopez. Lopez surprised the world. So, as I say, even though it was a fairly inactive year, the activity that we saw was tremendous. Katie Taylor, the rematch, and then coming back. McCaskill defeating the longest reigning woman ever in Cecilia Brakus. So overall, I think it's going to be a tough time to choose the fighter of the year, the fight of the year, and all the different categories. But I'm very satisfied and very happy of what we are having in boxing today.
And just one more, looking to the future in 2021. How confident are you that Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury will meet next year?
Well, I believe that is the ultimate fight that every single boxing fan wishes to see. I know that there's a legal proceeding, a mediation going on. There seems to be a contract between Wilder and Fury for a third fight. We don't have any information regarding that situation, but I would say it is highly probable that Joshua and Tyson Fury will meet in the ring in 2021.
Thank you, Mauricio.
Thank you, Danny. Are there any other questions that anyone wishes to discuss?
Mauricio, can I just jump in?
Hello, Jack. Yes.
Yeah, how you doing?
Fine, and you?
Very well, thank you. Just to follow up on what you said there about Deontay's legal process. If the undisputed fight does go ahead between Joshua and Fury, where would that leave Deontay? Because I'm sure he'll be then thinking he is owed a title fight.
Yes. The WBC is not part of the contract between Fury and Wilder. That's a direct situation between them two. Wilder is #1 contender in the WBC, and he was a 5-year reigning champion, and he has been a great champion in all this time. So I don't know where that mediation is going to lead or what will be the resolution. So I would not like to speculate in any way. We will wait to see what happens, but certainly we will have Deontay Wilder. I think he still has a lot to give in the sport.
Right. Okay. And another heavyweight that fits into that scenario is obviously Dillian Whyte. If he beats Povetkin, I'm sure he then feels that he's next in line. If Joshua and Fury do take up quite a bit of time and it leaves Whyte and Wilder sort of arguing over who's next in line, could there be a situation where those two potentially fight in a final eliminator scenario?
Well, I truly prefer not to have any comment because that could be a speculation and that could be misleading, and everything is being handled right now with this proceeding. So I would rather wait for the beginning of the year. Let's see what happens. But what I can see is great activity out there and great fights that can be made in the heavyweight division. So I'm truly enthused about what is happening, and I hope that the fans get to see what they really want to see.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack, and Merry Christmas. That looks very nice.
Yeah, I'm giving it a go.
Yeah.
Mauricio, can I ask a question?
Yes, Tom. How are you?
Good to see you. In relation to a couple of the questions that have been asked, the pathway to becoming undisputed champion now is obviously quite treacherous with 4 recognised belts available. You've got the possibility that you're going to have potentially an undisputed heavyweight champion and then potentially an undisputed junior welterweight champion if the Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez fight goes ahead. But what seems to be noticeable during the 4-belt era is that as soon as a fighter becomes undisputed, they're almost forced to either vacate or move on, or because of mandatory obligations, they think it's better to go another direction. What's your opinions on, it's okay becoming undisputed champion, but what's your opinions on not really being possible to hold on to the undisputed championship for any major length of time?
Yes, that is a real situation. It happens. It has happened. It's a concern. We believe in unification bouts. We believe in one champion. We believe in having the fans getting what they expect, which is clarity, which is excitement. The reality is that there are 4 organizations that are recognized worldwide for being governing bodies with a sanctioning of championship belts. That's a reality. The WBC can only speak of our own actions. We cannot speak of the other organizations. Yeah. And we have been very active in promoting unifications, active in trying to have unified champions. And I believe there are opportunities where the organizations can start making changes. There has been an idea floating on how we could have elimination bouts between the mandatory contenders of the different organizations so that the champion has to fight only one mandatory. But that is very complex. It is not easy because once you are a mandatory contender, you have rights under that organization, then it gets complicated. What we do in the WBC, we try to manage that the mandatory contender who gets to be mandatory has to go through a process, has to go through a real worthy path to be a real important challenger. When you have so many organizations and so many different belts, the quality of the challengers may dilute because those challengers become champions. So it is a fact that not always the mandatory contender is fighting the champion, and not that he's not the best in the division to be mandatory. So it's complicated because I can only speak for the WBC, but it's a fact that boxing is facing this situation, and I believe that we all could work together moving forward to try to establish some sort of a guideline for unified champions. But if you analyze a little bit, the franchise designation is precisely what it is intended for. When you have such a high-profile champion with such a great stature, to grant him the designation of franchise allows him the possibility of fighting anyone in any weight category, the best fight out there possible, without being forced out to relinquish the belt. So it is a new concept. It is uncertain and misunderstood in some instances. But I feel very strong about the franchise designation. We have it on Canelo and Lomachenko. I'm sorry, Teofimo Lopez. But these are the things that we are trying to address one way or another to make boxing better.
Just one small question. I think we discussed this briefly before, but the issue that seems to be apparent with the franchise designation is that a lot of people will refer to, in this case, Teofimo Lopez as the undisputed champion. To me, in a personal preference, he is. But a lot of people will not, because Devin Haney is WBC title holder. So that instantly creates a conundrum. Is he undisputed? Is he not undisputed? Something really needs fixed in that regard, right?
Well, that's a matter of interpretation. That's a matter of discussion. For one, it is. For one, for the other, it is not. I take the high road, and I see that Lopez defeated Lomachenko. We wanted to see that fight. Mm-hmm. The reason for Lomachenko to be designated as franchise was in order to be able to make that fight. So, if people like to get into looking at the negative or looking and trying to find things under what we saw in the ring, you are never going to stop that. Yeah. We did a big administration of everything in the lightweight division. We tried to be very clear at all times. It was very complicated from the moment that Mikey Garcia left the division. We ordered many fights. They fell apart. Finally, Lomachenko requested to fight for the title, which he did in a tremendous fight. And then we ordered all these different things that are leading now to great fights that are going to be happening. They already happened and are going to be happening next year. So I understand the confusion and the concern, but I believe it is more important that the fans get great fights in the ring.
Thank you very much. Have a great holiday.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions from...
Just a quick one from me, please, Mauricio.
Yes, Nick, sure.
Just in the spirit of what you were saying there of the franchise champion, if we were to see Fury Joshua next year, would you imagine that being for the franchise belt rather than the regular?
No, I don't see that. I see a ultimate unification. We had discussed one of the elements of the franchise designation is for a fighter to move up and down in weight categories. Canelo, 160, he moved up, 68, 75, come back to 68. So that is one of the major characteristics. But we are being very careful with the franchise designation. We don't want to confuse. We don't want this to be way out of things. Without a doubt, if Fury and Joshua fight, the winner is going to be, without a doubt, the best heavyweight in the division for the era. So, but I would not like to entertain that because we are looking into what is going to happen in the heavyweight division.
Thanks, Mauricio.
Thank you.